So the other reason why you see in Kelee Ringo, again, rated above the guy that Alabama flipped from USC, that has been compared to Kyler Murray, that was outstanding at Matter Day. It matters. Why is Kelee Ringo rated lower than Eric Gilbert, though? Because that's interesting to me, because I put more value on safeties, defensive backs, corners than I do tight ends. It's much more difficult to play safety or cornerback or slot corner than it is to play tight end. Defense is much more difficult to play than offense. That's not a take. That's just how reality works with football. Kelee Ringo was erasing Eric Gilbert in the Under Armour All-America game. He was erasing him. That was taking him away. And when you see that guy, in the All-America Bowl, when you see that guy going head up against players, Eric Gilbert, and you see who's matching up with him, and you see that big, strong, strapping kid from Saguaro in Arizona is able to deny him passes, you got to rate that guy higher. So I'm going to say, based on the votes, I think this is a bit of a miss, even as I value what the coaches are saying, and I believe them. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? If I'm wrong, I'm the guy on the radio, on YouTube saying, hey, I like Kelee Ringo better than Eric Gilbert. Fine. But I'm also willing to bet on a defensive player a bit more than I'm willing to bet on a tight end because I got more opportunities to miss with him. I can put Kelee Ringo at safety. I can put Kelee Ringo at corner. I can put him at slot corner. And he's going to be in a Kirby Smart defense. And I trust a Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning defense more than I trust a Steve Ensminger, Scott Linehan offense. I trust Kirby Smart to put Kelee Ringo in the right positions to succeed because he's done it for 12, 13 years now. Look at the number of defensive backs that have played for Kirby Smart. Look at where they get drafted. Look at who he puts into the NFL. Think about J.R. Reed showing up to Georgia unannounced as a walk-on wide receiver. They said, you want to play some safety? He said, sir, I just want to play. And Kirby Smart not only turns him into a starting free safety, turns him into a captain and a finalist for the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award as the best defensive back in the country. Hello. Kelee Ringo has way more talent than J.R. Reed. Probably has more talent than Richard LeCounte. We're being real about it. More talent than Eric Stokes. He has an opportunity to be really special at Georgia, and I think he made a really good decision. But even as I rate Kelee Ringo higher than I rate Eric Gilbert, we both, me and the coaches, rate Kelee Ringo higher than we rate Bryce Young or DJ Uiagalelei. Those things are important. Those things are interesting. I really, really love that, okay? There's a couple of other topics that I wanted to discuss in here, and I want to pivot really quick, but I want to take a better look at these players that we were talking about. So I'm just going to pull up the tab. Because Paris Johnson got 4 votes, Noah Sewell got 4, Justin Flo got 4, Kelee got 3, Bryce Young got 3, Uiagalelei got 2, and A.J. Henning, wide receiver, Michigan, he got 2. Jordan Burch, I think, man, seeing Jordan Burch get as many votes as Desmond Evans ought to tell you a lot about what they expect him to do at South Carolina. Because as soon as Javon Kinlaw leaves, you got to believe that Jordan Burch is thinking, okay, that could be me. But his recruiting also was wildly interesting because he didn't sign on early signing day, even as he committed to South Carolina. Strung it all the way out past signing day, 2 days past. Will Muschamp shows up to his signing day with players and his kid, only to see him say thank you for everybody that showed up and not actually announce where he's going or sign a national letter of intent. I think his mom and he were having just a little too much fun with that thing. But Desmond Evans is at North Carolina. In what world did we expect to see a South Carolina SEC defensive tackle rated the same as a defensive end headed to North Carolina? Which also should just highlight what Jay Bateman and Mac Brown have been doing for the last couple of years. They already have a top 5 class in the 247 sports composite rankings. That's phenomenal. I don't care that they won't stick. I care that we're talking about North Carolina's top 5 recruiting class, which is not a thing that happens. It's not a thing that happens. We're talking about Desmond Evans could be a change agent along with Sam Howell, who many believe and like we were right to say last year, is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in college football. It's really interesting stuff. Okay. I'm going to take a few questions from the live chat here, and then I'm going to wrap it up because I didn't want to do more than half an hour. And look, we're already up to 27 minutes. Sports talk radio, man. I love it. I love doing this stuff. It's fun. Let me go all the way back up to the chat. Shout out to my man Corey Karhoff, who is just an animal on this channel and a member of this channel. If you value this channel, now is a good time for you to be a member it's getting kind of dicey out here, man. But I value all of the members. All the folks that have badges next to their names, they've decided to support this channel with as little as $1 a month. Maybe a little bit more if you're so inclined. Marcel Brooks, we'll see how he changes up. All right. My issue with Marcel Brooks isn't necessarily that he isn't a bad player. He's a great player. I think he's good. My issue with Marcel Brooks is that he's having to learn an entirely new position. We didn't know if he was going to play safety, outside linebacker, stand-up edge in a 3-4 scheme. Now, he's going to have to play for real, Will or Sam, for Bo Pelini. It's not that he can't. It's that it's an entirely different learning curve, and he's one of those guys that is going to be at a tremendous disadvantage because he doesn't have spring football. Marcel Brooks, I believe, is going to be one of the casualties of this spring football period. So much he's going to have to learn, so much he doesn't know how to do, so much that he needs to be on the field with his teammates to learn. Making a transition from a stand-up outside linebacker or even a box safety to a Will or a Sam, it's not easy. And you're going to do it with a bunch of new starters. Jacob Phillips, Patrick Queen, the two guys in the middle last year, are gone. You have to be willing to make some mistakes, go 100 miles an hour making them, and get chewed all the way out by Bo Pelini and them while you're learning this thing. Now is the year for which, if you are going to pick teams with lots of returning production and coaching staffs that have the same core group of guys together. Places like LSU, like Texas, I'm going to be out on them in September, man. You change up your coordinators, you got a problem right now. You change up your scheme dramatically, you got a problem right now. You have a bunch of new guys that have to learn how to play football together, you have a problem right now. Marcel Brooks is in that group of kiddos. It's not that he's not a great player. It's not that he's not a great athlete. It's that he's learning an entirely different position. I don't know what we're going to think of LSU when football comes here, man, because they needed Bo Pelini to have an opportunity to put in his defense. It ain't Dave Aranda's defense. They needed an opportunity to learn each other. You're going to see everybody playing with their base packages who have new coordinators, and you're going to see others be really comfortable doing what they're doing, and they're going to run it up on folks. LSU Texas is going to be very interesting, but because both of those teams are going to have new coordinators, going to see 3 new coordinators on 2 teams that are going to play big-time football in September. Okay? It's another reason to give the edge to Alabama over Georgia when they play in week 3. They're going to have a new offensive scheme, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. I like store brand Cam Newton, Jamie Newman, to those of you that don't know. I love Todd Monken. Think he's a great architect of the offense. But they're going to be doing something different and new. And if you're doing something different and new, when everybody else has been doing something the same and they're very comfortable with, you're going to be at a disadvantage. People just that are new coming out of the box ain't been very good. Nobody has showed up to work, not performed that job, and been great at it. There are no Will Huntings among us, right? Some of us actually have to do this by rote. Like there's nearly 2,000 videos on this channel. I sucked when I got started. Many of you know that. It wouldn't be, shade to say so. It's not shade to say that Marcel Brooks is going to have to work at this in a way that I don't think he's had to work at football in some time. Okay? See what we got in here. Got lots of Marcel Brooks. Ringo ain't winning the Thorpe. Okay, well, we'll wait and see on that. He's still young. See if we got anything else in here. Elasticon, man. Shout out to your moms, by the way. She was a big help to me when I was interning at the Oklahoman. Still can't get over that store brand Cam Newton. All right. Should the playoff rotation involve northern indoor playoff games once in a while. LSU had all home games last year. It's an interesting question, and I'll finish with that one. No, they should not involve northern indoor games. If you're a North Dakota State fan, I'm sorry. If you want to see them played at Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm sorry. Two things. One, the South loves football more than the North. We know that. The South loves football more than the West. The South loves football more than the East. You don't want to have to worry about whether or not you're going to sell out Mercedes-Benz Superdome or Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. You want to know that you're going to do it, right? You want to know that if you play a game at the Orange Bowl, that it's going to sell out, that Hard Rock is going to be full. You don't want to move a game to a place where they don't really value it. College football is pro football in the South. Yeah, we like the Saints. Yeah, we like the Falcons. The Titans are all right, but it's about Saturdays in the South. Where I'm from, in Oklahoma, it's about Saturdays. The pro team in the state of Oklahoma has been around since 1890. It is the OU Sooners. We like the OKC Thunder. I'll talk about them. I enjoy them. But they can't hold a candle to what we're doing on Saturday. The biggest game north of the Mason-Dixon line every single year is Ohio State and Michigan. There's 5 games in the South that are as big and bigger. OU Texas, Alabama Georgia when they play each other, Alabama Tennessee, the world's largest cocktail party, Florida versus Georgia. LSU and A&M is becoming a thing. Think about that. Think about the Egg Bowl and what a big deal that is to us. How we look forward to it every single year. Can't say that about many football games that are going on above the Mason-Dixon line. When OU Nebraska gets played in 21, oh my goodness, it might break records because Nebraska shows up regardless of whether or not the team's any good. They will sell out that stadium because they have a pro team, and it is the Cornhuskers football team. No, you shouldn't have these big-time college football games north of the Mason-Dixon. You shouldn't have these big-time college football games, but anywhere in the South, in the Southwest, where they absolutely matter, where they are the thing. Not something to compete with the NFL, not something to compete with college basketball, not something to compete with the NBA, but for college football fans. I love that. All right. I think this is a good place to leave it. If you like these live streams, if you like these half-hour to hour-long shows, let me know about it in the comments below. Please remember to rate, review, like the channel. Also, subscribe to the RJ Young Show podcast on the audio podcast, which is for people that really just want to listen to it in the car or whatnot and don't get enough of this channel. All right, that is it from me. Deuces.